Okay, so as Eric said, I like to start at the arrival process. So what we're looking at here is what we call web gate view. This is where the arrival and the departure process would take place. If we are utilizing our advanced offering with the real-time locationing, we utilize RFID tags, and the way we would associate that tag with the trailer being checked in, we would scan that tag. It'll populate on the check-in side, which is the left-hand side here. On our screen, we simply highlight the tag that we're going to place on that trailer. This is how we make that association. So then we can continue our check-in, and then we would read that tag in the yard throughout its life cycle. And finally, at the end on our departure, we would take that tag off, we would scan it, it would appear on the right-hand side for checkout. We would verify any information and then check that trailer out, and we can then reuse the tag for the next trailer. In the center here, I am showing shipments. So Pinc has the capability to have shipments or appointments in the system. And this is really nice because this allows us to capture detail around the trailer before they arrive. So when we check in the trailer, uh, all that information will follow it. Instead of having to key that in, we simply verify the detail and then we check in. So it provides us with a more streamlined, a little bit more velocity at the gate upon check-in. So again, left-hand side inbound. I do have outbound shipments as well on the right-hand side. I can see that we have some shipments here. So you would be presented with a list of shipments coming in, or you can simply search on any shipment. And as you start typing, the system does a smart search, and you'll see this throughout Pinc, where it'll start matching what you're typing. So if I continue, I see that I have two that end with 1005. So I have two matching. I simply select the one I want to check in, and I can continue my check-in. You'll notice that we have an icon of a loaded trailer. Pinc does a very good job of visual cues throughout the system. Here we're showing a loaded trailer. If it was empty, it would show empty. We have the ability to also check in van box trucks or contractors or visitors, which would also give you a different icon. And this is just to assist us with understanding that we're checking in a loaded versus an empty, or a trailer versus a visitor. You'll see that I have a SCAC and a trailer number already. I didn't have to pick that from my SCAC list or type in the trailer number, and that's simply because that's part of my shipment record or my appointment record on the inbound. So again, just to point out, we're just going to verify that this is correct. I do have the correct company name and the correct trailer number. So we'll go ahead and continue our check-in. Now, Pinc needs at least three pieces of information in order to check in, and that's the company name, SCAC, the trailer number, and the load status. If that's all we cared about, when I click check in here, we would be done. We would be complete. However, we typically want to do different things or collect more information. So we have this secondary check-in screen. Mine is very busy. I have lots going on here, and that's simply because this is a demo site and I'm trying to show everything that Pinc could do for you. So today, if you're capturing an inspection, for instance, we can do that in Pinc as well. So not only are we checking in the trailer, perhaps we're going to do an external inspection, or maybe we're going to do an inspection of the load, make sure it hasn't shifted. We can add these, what we call attributes, basically fields in the system. You can create different fields or attributes to collect the information you desire. So around the inspection piece, you can have whatever makes sense. And again, or we can mimic what you have today, but we're just doing a few checks. You know, is the front wall clear of damage? Is the left side wall clear of damage? Is the floor clear of damage? You, etc. You understand. I do want to point out the last one. And that's basically a digital signature. Is this trailer free from any damage? And say yes. And actually these should be no. So I do not have any damage here. And my last one is saying this is free from damage, and I'm giving it a digital signature of yes. Everything in Pinc has a user assigned to them along with a date and timestamp. So we understand who did what and when and how long that process may have taken. So by selecting yes here, I'm stating the fact that me, S. Hebel, has verified that this trailer is free of damage and we can continue to check it in. Again, just to show some of the capabilities, if we want to capture any health and safety requirements, we can do that. So here are some COVID-19 questions. Some of our customers actually take a temperature reading. If I have safety requirements, as far as I want to make sure that the drivers have a vest and they're wearing a vest, I can get that information as well. So I want to make sure that they have a vest and they're wearing the vest. Maybe I want a driver name. I can take that information. Again, this is tailored to your specific needs. Whatever you want to capture, whatever process you want to do, we would show those fields. So this could be very slim. It could have a few fields to fill in, or it can be very busy and have a lot to fill in based on whatever process flows you have. Back to that inbound shipment, just to show you, I do have a bill of lading number. I have a customer name. I have some contents and even a load number. So again, I'm not typing this in, I'm just verifying this information. And we also have the ability to have required fields upon check-in. In my case, I have a required field when I have a loaded trailer coming into the yard to put a seal number in. If I do not, when I try and check in, the system will come back and tell me that I have to have an inbound seal number. So let's go ahead and put that seal number in. I also have a requirement to make sure that we've checked to see if the seal is intact. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes here. The other thing that Pinc brings to the table is instant visibility out into the yard. We are checking in a loaded trailer, and typically what may happen is when we arrive at the gate or get to the shipping receiving office, this process, by the way, could happen at either a gate or shipping receiving office. We would probably contact the dock or the dock supervisor and just ask them, where would you like this trailer? And that, either done over a radio or phone call or through instant message. But the point is that takes some time. In Pinc, we can actually see what's available. So if I was going to send this to my receiving doors, for instance, it gives me door 37, and that's simply because that's the first one available. These are all available dock doors on my receiving door. The other ones that we are not seeing are either have a move going to them or they already have a trailer there. I'm going to pick dock doors. Notice that I was given dock door 4, and again, that's simply because 1 through 3 are not available. You can see that 5 and 6 are also not available. So the system understands what's there. And again, just to reiterate, if there's a move going to that location, we would not see a spot, or if there's a trailer already there, we would not see a spot. So you have that instant visibility. Pinc also allows for some automation. We can automate through integration, or we can automate without integration. And I'm going to show a couple examples of that. The first one is with our offering of dock door optimization. We would have an integration. We would speak to the WM. The WM would then dictate based on the load information or picking up a load. Maybe I'm staging certain product in a certain area, so I want that trailer to go to those certain dock doors. All that information, those rules will come into play, and then provide Pinc with the prime location for that trailer. So I have a pseudo integration set up. So I'm not going to select anything. And just for reference, my first door was dock door 4. So I'm going to check this in without a location. It's going to speak to my WM, and the WM is going to dictate where this should go. So I'm going to continue my check-in now. So I went ahead and checked in that trailer. As I mentioned, everything has a date and time stamp, so I know not only when that process started, but when it finished. And I'll show you what I mean by that. We can see how long it actually took for me to check that trailer in. And as I suspected, the system did give me dock door 4. So we had integration. We spoke to the WM. The WM said, okay, I want this load to go to this door. And then we can continue in. Now I'm going to show you an example of not having an integration, and we can still utilize some automation within the system. And that's through our spot recommender rules. Spot recommender is basically a filter. So you can build a specific filter. I want all my loaded trailers to go to this part of the yard because that's where I keep the loaded. Empties, I want to go to my empties lot, or I want all my reefer units to go to this area because I can plug them in. I want containers here, trailers there, 40 foot here, 20 foot there. Again, whatever that criteria is, you simply build a yard filter, and then you can create a spot recommender rule off of that. So I have a rule for empty trailers. I want all my empty trailers to go to yard spots 50 through 100. So I simply go ahead and select my tag. If I'm utilizing my RFID, I go down here to select trailer. But before I do that, notice I have the ability to collect visitor information as well. So back to what I said before, if you're checking a variety of different things in at the security gate, Pinc can help with that. Each one of these would have its own set of fields to check in with. We're going to do trailer. As I mentioned, I need to understand what that company name is or that SCAC. So I'm going to pick Pinc. I'm going to type in my trailer number. And then we're going to go to that secondary screen again. And just to reiterate, if I have to inspect the inside of the trailer, I can do so here. Just want to point that out. Again, I'm not going to pick a location. I want the system to auto assign that for me. And as I said, we should get a spot between 50 and 100. So we got spot 54. So our trailer is now checked in. We simply tell the driver to go to yard spot 54. Our next screen is our summary screen. This is typically what you would see when you first log in. And I say typically because you do have the ability to set your own home page. So whatever screen you find yourself on the most, you can go ahead and set that up to be the first screen you see. At the top, we have various KPIs. You have the ability in Pinc to create your own KPIs. So those yard filters I mentioned, you go ahead, you create a yard filter, you can then create a KPI on top of that and place that here on the summary page, or use it in dashboards, or use it for reporting to get the information you're looking for. So notice I have like inbound loaded trailers, I have 13 of them. Empty containers, I have 5. I want to point out too here, accessorial charges. So Pinc also has the ability to understand detention and demurrage charges within your facility. So you simply put in those parameters, whether it's I get 5 free days, the first week is $5, the second week is $10, and it will calculate that information for you. So I currently have 32 trailers in my yard that incur a cost of over 30 US dollars. Over here on the right is a reoccurring total charge. So I have a total charge here of $2,375. So again, we have the ability to put whatever information is most important to you in the proper locations, do reporting upon that, show it in dashboards, show it on summary screens, even alert on those. And anything blue in the system, I can click on and get further details. So for instance, If I want to see my 3 loaded containers, I can click on that. It's going to show me those 3. I can drill in and get even more information. So now I've drilled into what we call the asset details. So I see all the information on this particular trailer. I have the ability to do history, so I can see everything that's happened since this is checked in and see it on the map. So I can see when it checked in, who checked it in, the different locations it went to. And mind you, this is a demo site, so I really don't have things moving around. So we're not seeing a lot of activity, but just one of many things you can do within the system. We're going to show you the last 10 arrivals. And this trailer right here, this is the one that we checked in, our empty trailer, and that was done about 3 minutes ago. And this is our loaded trailer. And again, about 12 minutes ago for that one. You'll also see that I have detail here. So Pinc is very good with the ability to configure or tailor the system to see what you desire. So the information I'm showing here can be whatever you would like to see. So everything in the system, for the most part, is configurable or can be tailored to your site specific needs. We would train admins at each location that can go ahead and make most of these changes. So again, last 10 arrivals, last 10 departures, oldest assets. This is just one of many areas where we're going to show aging in the yard. And again, that helps us with our detention and demerge to understand what's the oldest in the yard. We also have logic around our moves that allow you to set a situation where you want to make sure anytime we call for an empty that we get the oldest in the yard. We also have the ability to do the closest. So if we are utilizing our tasking or RTLS solution that involves the yard trucks, then we understand where those yard trucks are. We understand where all the assets are, and we can allow that driver to pick up the closest empty to them if I so desire. Most of our customers use oldest. We want to get rid of the oldest trailer in the yard first. Below that, we have the ability to show the available empties. And these are true available empties. You'll notice as I hover over these, I see bits of information. So I have 4 JB Hunt intermodal trailers in my yard. I can request a move right from here to bring that to the door. But again, I want to point out the fact that these are true available empties. And what I mean by that is they haven't been assigned an outbound shipment, or they're not out of service. These are ready to be used. So if I was to assign an outbound shipment to my JB Hunt trailer here, it would drop the list from 4 to 3, and that trailer would no longer be available for somebody to load. Below that, I have some examples of notifications or watches or alerts in the system. Just a couple examples of that. If I put something out of service, maybe I want to send a text message to the maintenance supervisor to let them know that this trailer went from in service to out of service, why it went out of service, and maybe even where it's located. I could even create a move to a maintenance area if I had one. I want to understand when something arrives on property. Let's say we're waiting for some hot product or some raw materials. So when this trailer arrives, send me a message to let me know that it's here so I can act accordingly. The middle one here is probably what's most used with our customers, and that is if we have a status change. So if a trailer goes from empty to loaded or loaded to empty, maybe we want to send the carrier a message to say this is now loaded and ready to be picked up. So again, helping us with that detention demerge charge. And then a couple others here. Maybe I want to be notified when a fuel level on a reefer unit reaches a certain level. So once that level is hit, and here I have a quarter of a tank, I can send a message out. So again, we can take action on that. And the last one is just another example of aging in the yard. So I'm doing a great job of detention and demerge. However, if something slips by me, send me an alert. So I want to know if something's sitting in my yard for X days old. In my case, I have it set up for 5 days. The next screen I want to show is our digital whiteboard or electronic whiteboard. So most of our customers either have an actual whiteboard at the dock level, or they're utilizing a spreadsheet, or some places even a pen and paper. So we take all this information, we put it digitized on your whiteboard. So we're going to come out, we're going to map all the yard locations, we're going to understand the naming conventions that you use, and we're going to go ahead and put those into a map and create whiteboards. So you'll see here, if I switch whiteboards, I have the ability to go between my different doors, or I can even go out to my yard spots to see what's out there. And just selecting one of those, I'll do my yard spots, for instance. I can see all my yard spots and see the trailers that may be there. Notice I can put any spots in and out of service. So if I'm storing snow, I am from Detroit, so we have snow here. I might turn slot 4 off because that's where I'm going to pile up my snow. When I do that, it's not a viable spot for me to send a trailer to. So and back to the check-in process, I would not see spot 4 as available to send a trailer to. So going back to my dock doors, I'm going to switch whiteboard again. I also have the ability to do a range. So if I'm only responsible for 5 doors, I can set it up to only see those 5. In my case, I want to see all of them. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. Notice dock door 4, this was that loaded trailer that we checked in. So it gave me dock 4, and again, that happened about 11 minutes ago when we finished that check-in. And if you remember on the summary screen, that showed 16 minutes. So it took me 5 minutes to actually check that trailer in. The first thing you see on this screen are the different colors. So I have a light green, a yellow, a red, and then a pink for anything that's out of service. All my availables are white. That goes along with this legend on the top here. But I do want to point out that the timing around this, the colors, again, can all be changed. They can be whatever you desire. The timing can be whatever you desire. The number of lines of information, I have 18 lines of information here. This is also whatever you desire. So if you want 4 or 5 lines, or you want 25 lines, you can have that. Also notice that I have different colors on various line items. So here is my load status, for instance. I have different colors based on the different load statuses I might have in the system. So I have an empty here with blue, a teal loading, loaded is green, unloading is red. So again, all this can be changed. As I mentioned, I have different lines of information, so I can show bill of lading number, I can show product in the trailer, so I have stuff, more stuff, even more stuff. If I want to show the percentage full, this can come in handy if I'm using trailers for storage and I'm pulling off some pallets. So maybe I want to record that I've taken a couple pallets off. So I have a pallet count here. I can change that from 26 to 24. I can change this from 100 to 90. Again, whatever makes sense. So the reason this is here is we have the availability to have as much detailed information about our trailers in the yard as we desire. I do want to point out line item 4, again, around those accessorial charges. So I am currently incurring a fee of $40 on this particular trailer. So again, one of many different areas we can alert you on any costs you might be incurring. The other thing I want to show are the ability to see pending moves. I have a pending move here and here. So this little truck icon, these are pending moves that are out to the yard truck for this trailer to come off this door, for this trailer to come to this door. I even have a couple more down here. So this one flashing is simply because this is an active move. So when a driver hits accept in their yard truck or their mule, this will start flashing. So I can expect this trailer to occupy this door momentarily. Creating a move is very simple. So if I want to create a move to dock door 7, for instance, I can do that with as little as 2 clicks. So I simply start my move. I go up here, I start typing in that trailer number. As I mentioned earlier, we have that smart filter taking place. So as I start typing, I am getting details around the trailer I'm looking for. And as you can see, I'm down to the one single trailer I want. It brings that up. I understand that I want this to go to dock door 7 because that is where I started my move. And then I simply do my second click here to create that move. Everything's in real time, so it's going to send a move out to the yard truck for this trailer to come to this door. I also have the ability to do other things. Notice over here on the left, I have different attributes or fields. If I want to have the ability to change something during the creation of a move, I can, whether that's a load status, maybe I want to put a seal number on a bill of lading number, I can do that. I also have the ability to switch or pick a particular yard truck, switcher, mule. I can also create what we call move categories. A move category is simply something that allows me to segregate moves for different areas of the yard, different individuals, different yard trucks. So if I have a larger yard, I have one person working inbound, one person working outbound. I can even direct those moves to those individuals. And I'll show you what that looks like in the yard truck. But it allows us, if we're utilizing a queue, to segregate those moves so we're only sending moves to the appropriate individuals. I also have the ability to put a priority on a move right from this screen. Our default here is 0, but if I was to change this to a 1, it would move it right to the top. I could put a note in here as well. If I want to say that this is a priority, I could put the word hot in, for instance, and then go ahead and create my move. So a lot of different things we can do within our move screen. I'm going to go back to that whiteboard. Few other things I want to point out while we're here, and that is around what we call asset operations. So operations allow us to do a process or adhere to a process, as well as change multiple items with one click. As you can see here, I have an inbound unloading trailer in dock door 3. If I toggle my operations here, I can do different things. These operations are based on the current state of a trailer. What I mean by the state of the trailer is simply here, inbound loaded drop. That's my current state of this trailer. This one is inbound unloading. Down here, I have an outbound empty drop as well. So based on that state, I can see different operations do different things. So I'm going to go back under operations, and you'll see I have a finish unloading. If we're integrated with a WM, for instance, or even a TMS to get those appointments and shipments, but if I'm integrated to a WM, the load status changes will probably happen on the WM. In other words, I would close out on the forklift my load. That information would then be sent to Pinc. Nobody would have to toggle anything in Pinc. It just happens behind the scenes. But what I'm showing here is in the case where I do not have the luxury of integration, I can still automate some process flows. So clicking this finish unloading is going to change the state of my trailer from an inbound unloading to an outbound empty. My whiteboard refreshes about every 10 seconds in the background. So as I'm speaking, we'll see this change. But it's going to change this from an inbound unloading to an outbound empty. It's going to also reset all these fields. So I don't show an empty trailer in the yard having some product on it. So again, this will change, and it just did. Went to an outbound empty, it reset all my fields here, so I can go ahead and create the move. The other thing I could have done was I had the ability to also, if I change this from to a start unloading, I also have the ability to create a move with my finish unloading. So I mentioned earlier in the presentation or the demo that if I had an empties area and I want all my empties to go to that empties lot, I could have used an operation that would have automatically created a move as well. Notice that I have the ability to put something in out of service mode, so I can mark damage. I have to pick a reason as to why it might be out of service. Maybe I have holes in the floor. I can put a little note in here if I want. I'm going to cancel this. But again, you have the ability to work through a different process with these operations. That outbound empty I mentioned down here, maybe I have to clean that out or do an inspection at the dock. I can do that through an operation. Notice I have a clean out process I can start, or I have an inspection process that I can start. And again, to point out, anytime I toggle a process flow or an event, there's a date and time stamp around that. So I understand how long it took to load or unload a trailer. So we're going to understand when the trailer arrived, who checked it in, how long that check-in process took, where that trailer went, how long it sat in that particular location, when a move was created, who created the move, how long that move took. Even if the driver sits idle for a while, we understand that. Once it's to the door, how long it sat in the door before it was started to be loaded or unloaded, how long that process took, and then obviously everything in return. So just keep that in mind. You have the ability to report on all that. Our reporting functionality can all be exported into Excel or CSV files, and we have the ability to schedule any report multiple times a day, daily, weekly, monthly. The next screen I'm going to show is our move asset screen. And this is the screen where we would see all the moves or the queue that the drivers in the yard truck would see. So right now I have one message up here at the top. I have 4 moves in the system. If I jump over to my yard truck screen, I see that same queue. So I mentioned how we could change the priority of a move when we are creating a move. We also have the ability to prioritize a move after the fact. So this third move or this third task here, I'm going to move this to the top. Everything's in real time. So in my yard truck, that went to the top as well. You have the ability to edit any move, cancel, create, move it to the top this way as well. But you can go ahead. This is where you manage your moves, make any changes. You can do all that in real time as well. When a driver accepts a move, it's going to go from a pending move up to an active move. This is that icon that was flashing. This is an active move. If the driver cannot make a move for some reason, it'll go from an active move into an exception state. I'll show that in a moment. But we're going to go back to our yard truck. So we have this move. We've made it a priority. I'm going to go ahead and accept this move. When the driver hits accept, it places them into a move screen, and we provide the driver with all the information they need, and we can provide them with other information if we so desire. So the driver is going to see where it's coming from, where it's going to. We even present them with a map so they can have that visual cue I mentioned before. We have the ability to provide them with different tools. I can show them a load status if I want. Here's the SCAC and trailer number. I can show equipment type. I'm going to see who created the move. I have different tools I can do up here. If I've accepted this move by accident, I could hit abort. It'll put it back on the list in the same order it was before. If I need to change something, I can give the driver different tools. And again, what we're looking at here is tailored to what you might need. The driver may only be able to do a couple of these items, or you can provide them with more ability. In my case, I'm allowing the driver to change a load status. I'm allowing them to put a trailer in and out of service or give it a reason. This is a reefer site, so I want to give the driver the ability to record any reefer information. And again, we can have them see desired tools to help us with our workflows or not see these tools. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Since I've accepted this move, I do want to go back inside. We're going to look at our whiteboard, and we're going to see we have another blinking icon for my accepted move. So we have that accepted move here. So just to show you that we know that that's active. And then back inside to that move asset screen, our move went from a pending move to an active move. This is the move that we're currently looking at. And I also mentioned that if we cannot create or complete this move for some reason, we have to place an exception on it. The driver can do so. So we're going to go ahead and place an exception on this. And let's say I cannot make this move because it has a flat tire. I can pick from this list. Again, this list is tailored to whatever makes sense in your site. Again, I see snow here. You wouldn't have snow or may not have snow. Or I can simply start typing in a reason here. I have the ability to send a message back inside. I'm going to go ahead and pick tires flat. But while I'm here, I want to point out the fact that we do have two-way communication with the driver. So we do have the ability to send them a message. They have the ability to send us a response back. So the driver's going to say, I can't do this move. We're going to send that. The driver's brought back to the screen so they can continue working. Inside, that move went from an active move up to my exception. In other words, I'm not getting this move, and this is why. This trailer has a flat tire. So I can either acknowledge this, or let's say I got the tire fixed and I want to put it back into my move screen. I can put it back into the queue, or again, I can just acknowledge that. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that. I talked about our reports. These are our system reports. On the left is all around our inventory, and in the center here is around utilization of our yard. And then the third one, if you're utilizing tasking or our advanced solution, you'll get reports around the yard trucks or the mules in the yard. So again, very robust reporting. I'm showing, I think there's 26 reports here. All said and done, there's more than 110. Each one of these reports has several reports within them. I'm going to go ahead and click on one. You can see I can go in here and do different kind of reporting. I can report on the driver. I can report on who created move, completed moves, exceptions, pending. Again, I think you get the idea. I can do lots of different things here. We also have the ability to create custom reporting, very robust custom reports engine. I simply start a new report. I give it a name. I can sort by any one of those attributes or fields that we had. I simply start building my spreadsheet by adding columns across the top. And then I pick those desired fields. So if I want load status, for instance, maybe I want trailer SCAC, and maybe I want trailer number. Load status is usually one that we would pick. So again, I'm building my columns across the top. I can move these around any order I desire. And below that is where I would start filtering my report. So maybe I only want everything that's currently checked in that has a load status of loaded. And I want only trailers in my yard. So this is where I filter my report. I have the ability to send this out to all users. I have the ability to do historical data reporting as well. I'm going to cancel this. We are going to, if you're utilizing our tasking and our advanced solution, you have the ability to see the yard trucks. I'll show that in a moment, but we are going to create a digitized map for all of our offerings. So we're going to represent your yard as it is today, and we'll see all those parking areas, and you'll see information over here on the right. As I'm hovering over, I can drill down and get more details. You have the ability to put in what we call virtual yards. So if you have a peak season and for 3 months out of the year, you set up something down the street, we can still provide you with visibility to those locations within your yard. So now I'm going to go to some live sites to show you some live data. So I'm going to jump over to our live sites here. The first one I want to show you is that screen where we can see those yard trucks, those mules driving through. I can understand who's logged into what yard truck. I can see what they might be attached to, how fast they're going through the yard, and I can even see them driving. We have those capabilities. This is a real live map with real live data, just to, again, to show you some more detail. I'm going to go ahead and select one of these trailers. So I simply click on the trailer. I can get that detailed information. As I showed before, I can do display on map to see the history. And this one has much more history than what I showed you earlier. But I can see who did what, the different locations it went to in the yard. Any changes to the statuses, I can see who did that as well. Again, just one of many areas where we can do that. Those KPIs I mentioned that you can place on the summary page, this customer does a very good job. We have many KPIs here that are very specific to their needs. We have the ability to have what we call a multi-site campus. This is Nike in Memphis, Tennessee. They have 9 sites within this campus. And the reason I like to show this is because on the summary page, the KPIs are at a campus level. The empty trailers are at a campus level. The reporting is at a campus level. The aging, again, campus level. Or I can drill into a particular site and go to the site level. So from a corporate perspective, you can get information on the whole campus, see those KPIs and metrics for the whole campus, or you can drill into the site level. And now I'm seeing summaries or KPIs, I'm sorry, and empty trailers and able to do reporting and aging at a site level. I want to show, this is Unilever Newville. I like to show this site. They utilize our accessorial charge offering that I mentioned before, where we have the parameters in place to start letting you know the cost you may be occurring. This column here for fee, these are actual costs they are incurring at this location. I also pick on Unilever for their Kilbourne site. They make mayonnaise here. This is a dashboard. I like to show this because it's simple, but it's very powerful. On the left-hand side, we show product. On the right-hand side, we show material. As I'm going over these, I can see that I have 4 trailers with 11.5 ounce bottles. I can click on that. I can create a move to bring this to the door. As I mentioned before, I can offload some pallets. I can record that information, put it back out into the yard. But again, very powerful dashboard. And it shows me all the information I need just by hovering over it, or I can drill down and get more detail. The other couple of things I want to show before I end here is we have the ability to provide carrier view. So this allows the carrier to have access into the system as well. A lot of customers may spend a lot of time with certain carriers. How many trailers do I have in the yard? What's loaded? What's empty? Anything out of service? What's ready to be picked up? I can have them have access to all that information. They as well can go ahead and drill down and see details on what's in the yard. They are presented with a map so they can see map details as well. And they are only going to see their trailers. They're not going to see anybody else's, only their company owned trailers will they see. They have the ability to do some reports. I can even find different assets, or I can go over here just as we can in the site and start looking for a particular trailer. Again, this is what we call carrier portal. This allows the carriers to come in, see their product. And if you're utilizing our appointment functionality, this is where they would come in to create an appointment as well. So I simply go in, I pick the day, the date and time I'm going to come. Let's say it's for tomorrow. I put in whatever information I want to capture, hit find. These are the different time slots I have available. I go ahead and pick one of those, put in the needed information, hit save. This is how a carrier would come in and make a time slot for the day. So lots of versatility that we can provide the drivers with. And then finally, to end with, I'm going to show you, we have what we call an enterprise visibility suite. This allows us to see all of our locations from an enterprise level and get all that information from the enterprise level. So if I go to my overview, I'm going to see all my locations. I'm waiting for my screen to load here. I apologize. I'm going to see all my locations here on the left, but I can see information such as inbounds, outbounds, what's ready to be picked up, what's out of service. I have a couple trailers here that are out of service. I can see those KPIs across all my locations from this site. So I see that these are all my locations and these are the KPIs. Anything blue, I can drill down and get more information. Again, point out the accessorial charges so I can see that detail here. These are costs I'm incurring here across my entire campus, or I'm sorry, my entire enterprise. If I have trailer pools that I have to be cognizant of, I can see those trailer pools. Again, I'm going to see all my locations at the top. I see all the SCACs here. Anything pink, I'm under. Anything blue, I'm over. Green is good to go. I can click on any one of these to see what my min and maxes are set to. I can even send a message out to the carrier to let them know that I'm in need or to remove some trailers. So again, very robust system. I was only scratching the surface on everything I showed you today. But there's a lot more that we have to offer that we can always drill into further detail if you so desire. So with that, I'm going to stop